What's happening, everybody? Kind of last minute live here. Down here in Tacoma, Fife area, at the Travelodge Hotel, right here off of Pacific Highway. I saw a notification that there was something taking place in the hotel here, which really kind of caught my fancy. So I don't know if fancy is the proper term, but it's what happened. So I bopped on down here and heard that there was a group, which is it's a homeless advocacy group that goes by Tacoma Housing Now, have occupied, and by occupied I mean, well, I'll explain that in a minute. On Christmas morning, they came in and requested 16 rooms to rent, and for a day, all billed under one name. All 16 rooms are occupied, and then they gave demands, which was that, actually it's kind of unclear at this point. I haven't had a chance to talk to anyone in the group about what it is that they really want to see happen. But but it was 4 days ago now, so it was Christmas morning, and an interesting situation. So I was just in talking to the employee, one of the employees here, about kind of the situation at hand, and he said that they haven't been violent, and they've kind of maintained a very fine line about whether or not they're going to about how they're going to proceed with things. And I think that from his assessment, it was because they know that they're kind of really on a razor's edge with the police. But it's interesting. So behind me here, they have 16 rooms that are occupied. The owner, make sure I get the name right for you guys here, is Sean Ragata. I want to say his name is properly. I'm going to make sure I get it proper. Randhawa, Sean Randhawa. It's a privately owned hotel. Keep in mind, it's a privately owned hotel here. So this business, the owner has said, is suffering immensely, not just from the 16 rooms that are now occupied and not being paid for, but also due to the fact that other people they're not showing up. They don't want to be here. It's becoming a big problem. And apparently the mornings they have protests they've been having out here in the parking lot. And the demands, like I said, I don't have a list of demands for them yet, but it's really interesting to see how this right now is becoming a situation where it could end up, if not handled properly, set some standards for how people will move forward with situations like this. I mean, what they were saying is that housing is a right, and you can't argue that people need places, to stay that are going to keep them, safe from the elements. However, taking over someone's personal business, and from what Sean has mentioned before, times are already very hard. I mean, with COVID, and then of course, the downturn in the economy. He was facing tough times as it was, and now things that he said that it's pushing him to the brink. And it's just been 4 days, and he's already seeing a massive downtick in his ability to operate his business, and which is terrible. It's terrible to see. And the police have been here, but they haven't done anything.
Helping to get the truth out. It's the American Doofus Show.
While these situations take place,
this is, of course, one of the absolute best live streamers in America. We'll just listen in.
What I think is interesting is, here, I'll show you guys. I'm right in front of the Fife RV Center right here. These are all mobile homes. You know what I mean? Just a quick thought. I would have popped the door on one of these bad boys and just turned that into my house. I think insurance would have covered that a lot better than, forcibly occupying 16.
The opinions of the commentator are not necessarily those of the American Doofus Show.
Group that supports from the employees. When he told me that support the group inside, I was curious how they're getting food. I mean, do they come out? Do they go in? Like, is there are they door dashing it? What are they doing to keep themselves fed and inside here? But the hotel, it's on a main drag. So like I said, this is Pack Highway, which is an arterial feed. It used to be like the interstate that ran almost, I think, all the way to Canada and then down into Oregon.
It's important this information get out, as there are many reports that this is Antifa. This isn't. It's an anti-housing displacement organization.
And there is a large homeless population in Tacoma, Life area. Transient community does spend. You'll see a lot of that in motion here on the main drag. I asked him why they picked this hotel, and he didn't really have an answer for me. You know, he was informative, but he was really the employee that I'm referring to. He was really trying to maintain a fine balance with not, overstepping his as he said, his PR bounds, which if anyone knows, it's pretty easy to do because I spend a lot of time doing just that. So, but he did say that as of right now, that employees haven't lost their jobs. No one's been sent home. There hasn't been a slowdown to the employees, though it's a pretty minimally staffed hotel as it is right now. And it's just interesting to see that from what the employee said, I mean, that they understand the requests of the group, they understand the demands. And I asked to be put in contact with one of the rooms if he would patch me through, and he wouldn't do that because they're still respecting some of the the protocol and procedure from the hotel status, which is you're not going to give out people's names and information. They're not going to give out room numbers, which I can respect that. It's tough though because I was looking to just get contact with somebody on the inside to see what their what their thoughts are on demand wise. Apparently, the police have said that they're working on a compromise of some type. They're trying to get some kind of agreement, and so it's it's going to be interesting to see what they end up choosing to do right now because there's 16 rooms. So you have to imagine at least 16 people, double bed rooms, and I would assume that as of right now, you probably got 2 people a room. No one likes to travel alone, so I would say like 32 people. And they said, from what I've heard, there's a group of 40 to 60 people that are ready to defend the hotel. Now, to be clear, real quick, let me show you guys what's going on here. There's nobody out in the parking lot. There's no barricades. There's no, let's take a little walk around here real fast. I'm gonna show you guys the back of the hotel first, so you kind of see what's going on. But it is super cold out here, and I'm sure it is for most everybody in the, northwestern, northern, central, anywhere but South Coast. And but it's it's super cold, and people are looking for a place to sleep. But and they chose the Travelodge Hotel here in Fife as that location. The back of the hotel here, I don't know which rooms are occupied. I couldn't tell you that. But I'm gonna go talk to the business over here and see if they've got any insight as to what's going down. Wait, jump over a canal. I'm gonna call it a canal. But he was saying, I was like, what if they just set up tents in the parking lot? How would you want to feel about that? And he was like, well, optically speaking, from aesthetics, he was like, it's almost better that they are inside rooms because it would look even worse for the hotel if people were just camped outside, which I understand. And if you're going to occupy, you might as well find some place to keep you warm, which is what they're doing. I'm going to go talk to this guy real quick.
Once again, this is CJ that we're watching.
Doing good. Hey,
probably the best live streamer. Well, Ford Fisher, Maxwell Mitchell, among the best live streamers.
What's been going on over here?
And we're getting the truth out there. That's why we're doing the live. A lot of stories that this is Antifa. It's not Antifa.
I don't want to make sure I'm coming out. Yeah, you're good.
We'll listen in.
That there's just some homeless people that are staying there. That's all we heard. We don't know anymore. Other than that, there's been a lot of people over here the last few days.
Protest style?
Protest style.
Okay, yeah. And when you say a lot, what would you say number-wise?
Yesterday there was probably 30.
Okay.
35 people, quite a few.
What is the general look of the group? Like, is it everyone kind of in black gear, that type of look? Is it a
Stereotype.
No, sir. I'm just saying, like, aesthetically, like clothes-wise. Okay, school teachers. Okay,
Like school teachers.
school teachers.
They look like school teachers, not in
Yeah,
black
they're
gear,
black.
not Antifa.
They have their Prius and Subarus, and I'm not trying to.
Are they bringing? No, you're good, man. Are they bringing food? Is that? Would you see any of that getting handed out?
No, they didn't. They don't hand anything out. I think what they're doing is they're just putting pressure on the owner of that hotel to allow those people to stay there.
Right.
Because there has been some people that have passed away on the streets
Really?
because of the coldness.
Like right here locally.
Not like right here, but somewhere around here. I don't know. I saw a flyer that said something about how two people died. And so they're like, it's a constitutional right for them to be able to have housing. Yeah, I'm not sure where that's in the Constitution.
Here's mine, just in case. Yeah, interesting. Do you see a large homeless population in this area?
Too many. There's too many everywhere, actually, bro. We got to fix that. I mean, the state's got to do something about that. They can't expect a private business owner to take these people in. It's ridiculous. They have to provide some services for these people because there's everywhere I go. Every street, every corner around my house. It's a sad deal.
It is.
And we need to fix it. And, they just pawn it off on everyone, like give them drugs or needles or whatever it is. That's not working.
What do you think would work?
Pardon?
What do you feel would be?
I think we need to take government owns a lot of property. I think they need to take a big chunk of property. They need to build a huge facility there to house them. And give them a chance to where they can have shelter and food and then counsel them to try and help them to not do drugs. Obviously, drugs are just a part of their life, which is the saddest thing. And mental health would be good.
Yeah.
How about you? Where are you from?
Seattle, right here.
Okay.
This area, yeah.
So do you work for a local?
I'm independent.
Independent?
Yeah.
What do you see going on here? What have you heard going on here?
They have 16 rooms occupied. They checked in Christmas morning, 16 rooms under one name, and then made it clear they weren't leaving until their demands were met.
What demands do they have?
I haven't been able to. I'm not super clear on. I just found out about this probably an hour ago.
Oh,
so
okay.
this was surprising. I mean, you think it'd be something that would hit the news,
right?
But so I'm still kind of trying to get the details, and hopefully people in my network here will
Again,
a live show. So I'm hoping that people
things are pointed out to us in the news that are
going to Tacoma housing now
meant to be pointed out to us, and things that aren't
hotel over here. But the owner's made it clear. He said
don't get a lot of focus, like homelessness.
Anyone gets word of it, and maybe that's
the American Doofus Show. This is CJ. We're talking, or we're watching talk.
Any more of the flowing business than what they already have with 16 rooms that have been occupied, and you got to imagine that per square foot, you've got heat, electricity, water that's being used,
and the opinions expressed are not necessarily those of the American Doofus Show.
He said he's no. The employee I was talking to said he's in a real pickle because it's just hard because he doesn't want to be insensitive to the fact that people are, like you said, homeless and fighting for their lives right now, a lot of people, but also the fact that he's got a business to run and, things are already tough with COVID. So, I'm sure you've seen it. I mean, running a business.
It's tough everywhere. I'm used to seeing that suffering. And I know that guy that owns the place. He's a very compassionate, he does a lot for his church that he's with. I know that because he'd leave on Fridays, work over there all weekend. And he's a good person. Yeah. So it's just sad to see people taking advantage of him like that.
That's tough. Yeah.
I really feel that whatever demands they need, they're demanding from the wrong individual because he didn't really do anything.
That's what I was curious about. I was like, was there an issue that one of the people from the group had, and they were like, "Hey, we know the spot," like they targeted the hotel for some reason. Yeah. Who knows? And I'm not trying to jump into conspiracy theory.
That's the thing you dive down you'll dig into, and you'll figure it out.
We'll see what I mean.
And hopefully, it's not. It's not like an ongoing thing. Like hopefully this thing gets resolved soon because
has it affected your business at all?
No,
not yet. Okay.
No, they've been kept to themselves, and like I said, there's been we've obviously had people pitch tents and stuff in front of the facility and break into them and steal things, but that just that happens year round. I mean, but these people that are protesting kept to themselves.
Right. They're over the parking lot.
Yes, they've been over there. They've been non-disruptive at all. They've been very.
And that's the employee study. So they haven't been violent, but it is, it's a really tough situation because they keep to themselves, but at the same time, it's you.
Once again, we're watching the American Doofus channel. We're watching CJ, one of the top live streamers in the nation. Tacoma, Washington is the location. A travel lodge. 16 people checked in, or into 16 rooms, I'll say, in the travel lodge on Christmas morning, and then have refused to leave. And they're trying to draw attention to homelessness, it appears. And I can't get a real good look at the comments, but I've seen a couple, and I want to address a couple of things. Number one, two things can be true at the same time. It is true homelessness is not a crime. And it is also true that occupying someone's private property without paying for the room in a privately owned motel is going to be indeed a crime. Now, I'm not going to say what's right. I'm not going to say what's wrong, because two things can be true at the same time. And this broadcast is not about judging whether the protesters or whatever they may be are right or wrong. One of the functions of this is to get out that it is not Antifa, that it is a pro housing as a right organization, as it appears right now, as of this broadcast of this breaking news. And we'll go back to CJ.
I mean, it's just tough. I mean, it'd be hard to be homeless, and I would hate it. And I would hope that somebody would help me, and I think we need to, but it needs to be. It's a lot bigger than you and I, bro. It's like it's a statewide issue. Do you feel that, and maybe you don't have an answer for this, but do you feel that like the people that are occupying this hotel over here are actually homeless people, or are they just people that are like lobbying for homeless people, or maybe even just taking advantage? Yeah, I haven't seen any of those or talked to any of those people, so I wouldn't know. But interesting. I think that you're on to something, though. I think all three of those are good questions. Yeah, for sure. We'll find out. Well, hey, man. I'm Kevin. Kevin, CJ TV is my live stream. If you want to check it out. Pop it on the night. Pop in. You can see what's going on. Yeah. Okay, get a different angle of what's happening outside. All right. Take it easy, Kevin. Nice talking to you, man. So, like you said, you're not affecting business. And I mean, people down here in the Tacoma, I'm in Tacoma 5 right now, outside of this hotel right here, which has been occupied by, 16 rooms of this hotel are occupied right now by people who checked in under one name Christmas morning for a day, and then made some demands. And again, I don't know what they are, but as of right now, they made it clear they're not leaving until those demands are met. I tried to get in touch with someone in the hotel that I could talk to that would, hopefully give me an idea of what's going on and what they're hoping to accomplish. But the employee of the hotel said that he wasn't going to release that information. So it's tough, man. And I'm trying to look at comments as they come up, guys. But again, I'm trying to kind of go back to my roots on things where I started getting myself too tangled up in comments, and I used to just not look at them, but I definitely will. And we've got on all 3 platforms right now. I appreciate you guys tuning in from Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So, but the rooms, I think he said something like, it's a 3-story hotel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That the police aren't involved in doing anything to stop this or to make a change here. That they're working on a negotiation is what was said. But the employee, when I was in there talking to him, he was asking me questions. He was like, well, have you seen anything that's like a precedent setter for any of the situations that you've been in about situations like this? I was like, no, man. I mean,
only occupied places that I've been involved with is like, the Chaz Chop, and that was an area space, not a business or a private domicile. So, because he was curious, I was like, well, what's the eviction process? Is that what you have to go through? Like, do you have to go through an eviction? If that's the case, like, that's a hell of a process. So, he doesn't, again, he was very, very, selective about his wording. He didn't want to say too much or say the wrong thing. So he said that they're not sure. He's not sure how the owner's going about it. Hopefully I'm going to have some time to talk to the owner at some point tomorrow. So, but yeah, so maybe you guys can look it up in the feed here, what the trespassing laws are at hotels, and if, no, the owner wasn't the person I spoke with. The owner isn't in right now. But the guy is the employee that I talked to. Like I talked to him for all of 15, 20 minutes, and then immediately started getting calls. And he's been, I can still see him through the window. He's just on the phone nonstop. They've been, people in every conversation I hear him having is about the owner, about the rooms. There's been, from what I've heard, a lot of talk about Patriot push towards, securing the hotel or liberating the hotel. I'm not sure the best term to use there, but and he said I was talking to the employee about it. He had kind of mentioned that maybe a call he had gotten or something along those lines, and he had said that it was tough because they don't want to be, as a hotel, as a business, responsible for anything that might happen. So, man, like I said, and like he was saying, and even Kevin across the street over here, it's a rock and a hard place, just short of going in, kicking in the door yourself, grabbing people and yanking them out. But man, that's a tough one. I can't get behind anyone like, ruining someone's business. That's if it's going to if your liberties, what up, man? If your liberties are infringed, so the dude just pulled up and he's watching the sheet, just hold his fold up. He's watching the show in his in the cab of his truck. But if your liberties are infringing on someone else's, like, are they really your liberties? And if it comes down to you violating someone else's rights to make a point, like, is your point really acceptable to be made like that? Like, or to rethink that, go about it in a different way? Because this guy, Sean, I don't think he had any intentions of, from what I've heard from Kevin across the street, he's a good dude, he's not, he works actively with his church. He spends a lot of time, helping his employees out, and his employees like him. But as it sits right now, it's tough because the way it's worked out is, it's put him in a spot where, like I said, you can be as kind to him as you want, but if you're going to put him out of business, you're going to turn him. And that, I think, has been happening a lot lately, where people are going to be how they're going to be, and if you're a good person, you do good things, you're doing what good people do. But if people keep pushing you and pushing you and pushing you, it forces your hand. And, I've been put in that position, sadly enough, where as of late, where, I do my best not to wrong people, and I do my best to just, observe and, not make too much speculation. But people, a lot of times, will push you and push you and push you and push you. Then you got to snap back, And a lot of times that snapback is going to be a lot worse than the push, So in situations like what Sean's dealing with right here in his hotel, you don't want to see anything bad happen to people, but if you break the law, you're breaking the law. So I don't know what's going to happen out here. I'll be back tomorrow for sure to see what's going to happen with the these protests down here. And it was funny talking to Kevin. He said that I was curious, because from the pictures that I saw on the news, on the some of the photos that I saw, it was black blocked individuals. So I was like, all right, well, is that the kind of the group you're seeing? And he was like, nah, it's like school teachers. He said Subarus and Priuses. So I don't know if that's talking more to the point about who and what are out here doing what they do, but he made it a point. He said, with those people that are out here protesting for for housing, would they take any of the people that are occupying this hotel into their own home? And if you just tuned in, like the point I was trying to make is like, yeah, I mean, I used to have a dude that slept in my car pretty regularly in Seattle when he lived downtown, up in Capitol Hill. Like, I mean, couldn't stop him. And I mean, honestly, it wasn't affecting me anyway. But so, maybe some of these protest folks will want to, start volunteering homes. Maybe they are. I don't know. I don't know anybody out here. I don't know who's doing what, the names are, and what their platform is, other than to say that, they're working for what we can all agree is an understanding that, there is a problem. And another epidemic within its own with the homeless rate, not just here, but in, cities all across the nation. And it's a tough road to toe, and there needs to be more work done with it. Do I, feel like what's happening here is the way to go about it? This is a brand new situation, but it's a tough situation to deal with. But yeah, and what's tough too is that like you wonder, like without the occupation of the hotel, the owner, good dude, right? The owners made it clear. Like, what if they'd have just come to him and said, "Hey, listen, man, like we have this, Tacoma Housing now, this group, and we're willing to fundraise, but are you willing to offer vacant rooms at a discounted rate to help get people off the street?" You know what I mean? Maybe he would have done it. Who knows? Like someone said, he's not running a charity, but it doesn't mean that he's not a charitable individual. And I think that's the issue with a lot of things is that people forget to ask. They forget to like approach it in a way that might be able to get some resolution. And what they've done is they force people's hands, which is too bad because, you might find that people are, innately good before you force them into a situation where they have to look like the asshole for doing what, they may not have wanted to do from the beginning. So it's tough. I'm going to take a look around the hotel here again. Where does it end? Good question. Where does it end? I know I've seen there's a couple other like, MSMs out here or mainstream media, but the hotel is, what's interesting is when I pulled in, there's a lot of running cars in the hotel. But again, hotels, especially in this area, have been known to have seedy dealings. So you never know what's really going on in the parking lot. But but I've heard that there was a report that the owner locked them out and that they just kicked in the doors. So this is, like I said, the Travel Lodge Hotel down here off Pacific Highway, and the kind of the Fife Tacoma cut. It's at Fife, but it's But they've been here apparently, from what the employee said, since Christmas morning. So, but you see kind of the presets for a lot of the other mainstream media, and I don't know if they have the beat on, which rooms these folks are occupying, but I'd be interested to talk to anybody in one of these rooms. Talk to them.
One at a time.
Hey, have you guys had any contact with anybody on the inside yet?
Sorry, man. We're too busy to chat.
What's that?
We're too busy to chat with you.
I'm not looking to chat. I was just curious if you
I
had any.
can't help you, man. Who told you there's times there?
Move.
I'm glad we caught that.
These guys are too busy to talk. He wasn't too busy to say yes or no. He was too busy to say yes or no, but he plenty of time to tell me he didn't have time to talk. They don't like people like me. Mainstream media, man.
Mainstream media don't like people like us. We're watching CJ TV, by the way. It's the American Doofus channel.
Yeah, it makes me curious.
We're helping to spread the truth. This is not an Antifa event.
He said he was just looking at it. I don't have time to talk to you. Yeah, time to tell me you don't have time to talk to me. All right.
Tacoma, Washington, Travel Lodge Hotel. 16 rooms occupied since Christmas morning by demonstrators for ending homelessness in Tacoma.
I mean, it looks like they've made it, they're doing donation drops for people. Hey, how you doing? Hey, I was just hoping to talk to you guys. I do a live stream show.
Hey, Sam. You. Live stream show.
This is why CJ is one of the top live streamers in the nation. If you want to talk to him, you go up and knock on the door. Mainstream media, no.
Hey, Sam, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, do you mind being on camera? Or
No, not at all.
Okay, that's great. So it's a lot of things happening right now.
Yeah.
A lot of things happening. This is Sam. Are you with Tacoma Housing now?
Yes.
Okay. Walk me through what's going on, man.
Well, after repeated attempts to find more permanent housing solutions for people here, we're occupying the hotel. There have been empty rooms and space here. This hotel's basically operated like little to no occupancy. And I mean, honestly, people are freezing to death outside. And with COVID-19, shelters are operating at less capacity and they're not open at all.
Right.
We've had 4 people die during the winter already.
Right here in Tacoma?
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, that's where we're at.
What would you say is a list of demands? If there was a list of, were you considering them demands right now, or?
I suppose you can call them demands. Essentially, we're looking for permanent housing solutions for the people who are staying here and other people who are sleeping outside.
Who are you looking to get those? Is that from the city, the
From
county?
the city of Tacoma.
The city of Tacoma.
Right now, we're hoping that the city of Tacoma will reimburse the owner of the travel lodge for the people staying here.
Is now I talked to the front desk employee, and he did say that it was a stressful point for the owner, Sean, just because of the loss of revenue. Is that a concern for? Is Tacoma Housing now? Are they willing to reimburse, or what is there any plans for that at all, other than maybe the city?
No, we're hoping that the city of Tacoma will reimburse Sean for his loss.
Right. Have you met Sean?
I personally have.
Oh, okay.
He hasn't been around a whole lot from what I've seen.
Yeah. Is this the first time you guys have ever done anything like this?
No. If you Tacoma Housing now is involved in a couple other events for trying to house people.
Yeah. What's the end game? Like, what? I mean, not just here, but I mean, what do you think is the big? What needs to happen to make a change? It's not going to elicit situations like this.
People need to take care of each other. We need to find ways for people to be safe and warm and secure.
Yeah.
And it's just a community responsibility.
Yeah.
Really, yeah. I mean, what needs to happen is, there's places for people to stay that are warm and available, and they're just not being made a priority.
What types of places are those?
Well, I mean, hotels and that kind of thing are a good option as well. But also, I mean, there's just, there's shelters that can be operating. There's properties that are, not being utilized that are owned.
Has anybody talked to anybody about these schools right now that aren't being used because of COVID? Like, because it would seem like that's a lot of big space,
open space, yeah.
With auditorium spacing. It seems like that would be a viable option for larger groups of people, right?
I don't know if you were familiar with Galt, but the local government seems to react really, really quickly when it's their property, and very slowly when it's private property.
Yeah. Have you had any interactions with like the police?
There was a brief interaction with Fife, I think was the chief of police, who just said that they were working to find a solution.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen them at all.
Are you afraid of any kind of legal reprisal? Any kind of
I wouldn't say I'm afraid. It's certainly a possibility.
What would that be? Is this? I know a lot of people are curious. Is this considered trespassing, or are you guys considered residents now, or how does that work?
My understanding with residency would be staying here for 2 weeks without, being asked to vacate.
Right.
Trespassing involves being, the police being called and, having somebody say you're trespassing.
Sure.
That, to my knowledge, has not happened yet.
So it seems like the owner of the hotel is based off that, maybe being a little bit more lenient than I think a lot of people are expecting.
He has expressed being amenable to making this into housing
Really?
For homeless populations and for COVID relief.
Interesting.
So, I mean, if the city is willing to foot the bill for that, it could be a win-win situation.
Sure.
Hotels are losing a shitload of money.
Yeah.
Nobody's traveling, nobody's staying anywhere.
Right. Well, I mean, with this being privately owned and based off what you just said, I know that lights, water, heat, those things are costing money, and I know that's Sean's the owner. I'm sure is probably having to flip the bill for that right now, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's tough. I mean, is there any thoughts on as a business owner, like what if it were if you heard that was going to put him out of business? Is that something that a risk that you were willing to take as an organization?
Yeah.
Wow. But then, what if it put him out in the streets then?
Well, that would be an interesting situation. Frankly, I mean, the guy owns and operates a hotel. I'm not sure that it's that dire of a situation. But, no.
What now? I hear that there's a protest in the morning down in the parking lot. That people are coming out to maybe in solidarity or.
I think there might be something like that organized.
Yeah. I heard 16 rooms are occupied right now. Is that an accurate assessment?
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Of the occupants of the 16 rooms are they transient, or are they people that are active, are kind of being activists for the transient population?
They are both. Everybody here is participating in this action.
Are you homeless?
No.
Okay. Yeah. It's really interesting to see that that something like this could happen because it's a private business, and so you'd assume that there would be more of a direct action situation from law enforcement and from the owner, and it seems like there's big statements being made on both sides right now about the legitimacy of what's happening.
Yeah, it seems that local government and police enforcement are content to stand back and see what happens.
Yeah. Do you feel that if the demands are met and the police show up, what do you think is going to happen? I mean, when I say show up, I mean if they come and they say, "Hey, it's time to go," like grab your stuff type thing.
Yeah.
Are you willing to leave?
It depends entirely on how the people residing here are taken care of.
Sure. If they move everybody to a new location, is that something that would that be,
that's absolutely an amenable situation as long as they're actually being taken care of. Little tiny home communities with tons of guidelines and strictures and 24-hour surveillance are conditions that nobody wants to live in.
Sure. And those are things that they've done in Seattle. They had the tiny homes up there for a while. And what were the thoughts on that as a group? Did those work out at all? I mean, it sounds like
there was a tiny home thing discussed with the residents here. The rules that they want people to follow there, including being under surveillance for 24 hours.
Sure. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. They don't believe that people who. I don't know why they would want somebody to have to live in those conditions.
Right.
I'm sure you wouldn't want to be surveilled 24 hours.
No. You keep hearing terms whenever anyone talks about the homeless population. You hear talk about drug use as well. They get brought into the same dialogue. Do you feel that that's part of, not saying what's happening here, but in general, is that part of an issue that's kind of happening amongst the homeless community?
I think lots of people use drugs, and homeless people do too.
Yeah. So the short list of demands would be, if you could bullet point them, it would be.
The real short list is to either fund keeping people here or to have a viable location for everybody to stay in.
Wow. Okay, man. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. Do you mind if I look in the room? Is that okay?
Yeah, you can check it.
This is great. Yeah, I know everyone is saying that the rooms were probably destroyed, but
no. Everybody here is really, really stoked to have a place to keep safe and warm for them.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've visited homeless encampments before.
I have.
then you probably know that the lack of garbage removal and that kind of thing leads to some very unsanitary conditions.
Absolutely.
No, everybody's been thrilled. Garbage pickups happen without a hitch. It's been awesome.
And you guys, I see you have a donation location here too? Or
Yeah,
people
a
are
lot of the
donating?
communities come out and drop food and everything like that for people.
Wow. Well, I appreciate you taking the time.
No problem.
Yeah. Take care of yourselves.
Yep.
And you're good, all right? Take care. Bye. So yeah, like I said, they had donations and they're taking it seriously. I thought I was going to be housekeeping, but it turned out that the folks have been. I mean, he's pretty willing to talk. Yeah, man. But that's a tough one, man. I mean, that demand set is really difficult though to think about it because, like I said on the short list, like that's a big issue to try to solve within a 2-week period. I say 2 weeks because it seems like the right now that's kind of like the benchmark for time right now is that after 2 weeks they become residents. But it's interesting to see that he said that no one's called in trespassing on him. So, sorry, I'm trying to put gloves on, guys. It is, I mean, talking right into point, it is super cold out here. So, it makes me really curious to know, like, what the, what the take is from Sean, the owner. So, yeah, but I mean, it's to be real fair. I mean, like the front desk clerk said, it's been a nonviolent group, and based on the conversation I just had and the open, I mean, that's honestly more reception than I've gotten from a lot more than I expected to get. I'll say that a whole lot more than I thought I was going to get. I thought immediately it was going to be a, get the hell out situation, but they had an open door and he was really willing to talk. So I respect and appreciate that because any of these things that happen, it all comes down to conversations that need to take place so that we can figure out what to do about it. So he made some really interesting points though that were surprising to me, and I think kind of set maybe him back a little bit too. Is about if this were to put the business owner out of work and put him in the street, would, like I said, would the actions justify the outcome? And that's a tough one, you know what I mean? Because I'm sure that Sean, the owner, would disagree, but it sounds like he's working with him to make some kind of resolution and to figure out some kind of amicable way to sort through what's taking place. So it's interesting. It's interesting. But yeah, I was super surprised that we were able to actually have a conversation, and it's great. I mean, it's respectable. It is wicked cold out here. I'll tell you guys that much. So, but there's no there's no barricades. There's no like big standoff situation. It's just a group of people out here, and I mean, the most that we see out here is going to be like you got some MSM staging here and doing their thing, but looking for the scoop. I don't. Guys, that's the dude that was like, I don't have time for you. So sorry.
And he just walked up and scooped him.
Freaking cold out here, guys. No jokes.
That's why CJ is one of the best.
So, that's what's happening out here right now in Tacoma, Fife area. People are trying to do their thing. Let me ask these folks real fast. How y'all doing? Are y'all staying here right now? Oh, okay. Do you guys stay around here? You mind if I talk to you real quick? I was just up talking to the folks that are in the hotel right now about what's going on with the occupied rooms in the hotel here. Do you mind being on camera at all?
I don't know.
Okay, thanks.
Is it on TV?
Yeah, it's a live stream. I do.
I thought.
Okay. So you said you are trans. You live in this area. You don't live in this area. You're homeless in this area.
I'm homeless in this area and have been for over 2 years now. At one point, just earlier this month, I had been in a room, though, with my husband, who has now passed on since the 13th.
I'm terribly sorry to hear that.
He died from congestive heart failure.
It's terrible. So sorry to hear that.
1 week after his death, a vehicle that I'd been staying in with the vehicle owner's permission was torched with all my possessions and everything pretty much that was in that room when he died.
The vehicle was torched, was burned? Like intentionally, or like, was that an aggressive act towards you?
Because I shut the individual down for his advancement, so I wouldn't get involved.
Okay.
But he's also linked to 4 other arsons.
Wow, that's scary. That's really. I'm glad you weren't hurt.
I had just left the vehicle less than 3 minutes prior to my perspective of those that have never experienced homelessness, either personally, as in being homeless themselves, or a family member or loved one.
Yeah.
That we're not all the same. We're not all addicts. Whether
Right.
it be drugs or alcohol, we're not all criminals.
Right.
Up until June, I was a certified road crew flagger
Okay.
out there helping protect others. Now, even though that I'm homeless, I'd give the shirt off my back, my last blanket, whatever, to help an individual in need.
What ended up bringing you out to the streets? I mean,
Because I ended up getting pneumonia and bronchitis at the same time, and while following doctor's orders to stay away from elderly and compromised individuals. My stepfather kicked me out because I didn't go to 2 mandatory weekday services and missed the last 20 minutes of a Sunday service.
so it was a family issue that ended up.
Pretty much family / personal belief of power prayer healing BS.
Yeah.
And mostly also on top of it, a control factor.
Okay.
But I take each lesson that life has dealt me, and I try to help others, in the process, and, try to help prevent crime as much as possible.
Do you feel that you get support from the city, being homeless? Do you feel that you're getting?
They could do more.
They could do more.
Yeah. For example, this area alone, we only have 1 food bank.
Just 1 food bank, you said.
It's a small food bank, and you can only go 1 time a month.
Ah.
And they only give barely enough food for 3 days, no matter what size the family is. There is no clothing bank, so no place to get, warm clothes for the winter or for the summertime, let alone blankets, tents, tarps. It's not like Tacoma where you have the mission.
Yeah.
Yes, the mission does come out once every couple of weeks, but that ain't enough.
Yeah.
It's individuals like, say, for yourself, that, getting the word out of what's in need here in Fife.
What's the best way someone could directly help you? Like, is there a location that you go to that you find that the other people that are homeless in this area go to try to find assistance and relief?
Primarily, you can see a lot of us individuals flying, as we call it.
Flying?
Yeah, also known as panhandling.
Okay.
Like in front of the Dollar Tree or at the McDonald's Island,
Okay.
which is right between Arby's and Wendy's, if not at the light at Love's.
Yeah.
I mean, an individual doesn't have to give cash if, they're uncomfortable with it.
Right.
But, food, water, that sort of thing, a blanket,
Sure.
a jacket, something along those lines, depending on the weather, is what's needed.
Are there shelters around here that?
Not in Fife, no.
Not in Fife.
You would have to go to Tacoma or I believe Federal Way.
So those are, so anybody knows, those are on either side of Fife, to the south and to the north, and it's pretty far to go when you're cold. Though, are you able to take the buses? Is that something you're able to do?
If I was able to get my reduced card replaced and like say monthly pass on it, yeah. Otherwise, it's difficult in general.
Is it hard to get those services being on the street to be able to go in and?
Because to my perspective, because the acts of other individuals, those few has affected the many a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, the narrow-minded tunnel vision view that the non-homeless community have of us is ultimately what's going to pretty much kill us. They say that they have a good heart. They need to show it. Instead of snubbing their nose and coming at us sideways, accusing us of this and that, like an individual, supposedly I'm the reason or my family is the reason why his family is homeless or whatever.
Right.
It's my kind that caused it. And we're talking about pre-slavery days and insinuating that my family fed central sibling to the gators. That ain't helping us.
Right.
I mean, even just a smile or a hi, acknowledging us, can change the, make a change in that person's life, because they could be on the brink of ending it all, throwing in the towel and committing suicide. Just that act of acknowledgement, letting us know that we're still somebody and that, we deserve to be recognized as people.
Absolutely.
That could be the difference for that individual.
Yeah.
And yet, we don't get that.
Right.
We came at sideways and always constantly accused of, being druggies and criminals.
Yeah.
And that's not fair.
Nah, you don't need someone to put a title on your head.
No. If anything, stop. Talk to us. Get to know our story before you pass judgment.
Sure. What's your name?
I go by Divine out here on the street.
Okay. My name's CJ.
I happen to know quite a few CJs.
Okay, well, you know one more now.
Yeah.
Divine, I'm going to let you go. It's starting to rain out here, but here, I tell you what, I got a set of gloves here that you can have.
Oh, thank you.
And I think if, here you go. And then I think if you look in the back of this glove right here, wherever that is, unless I drop, no, here, if you want to unzip the back of that glove real fast, I think that there should be I usually keep, or maybe it's in the other glove. I usually keep like an emergency,
Nope.
Nothing?
Nope.
Oh, well, sorry, it's a pair of gloves then. I was hoping that there was something in there for you, but I don't carry any cash, but hopefully the gloves, those are nice gloves. Hopefully they'll keep you warm.
And I have had nothing, and my hands have been frozen all day.
Well, there you go. Hopefully those will help out.
Thank
Hey,
you.
take care of yourself, okay?
All right, you too.
All right.
And that's why we love CJ.
Man, it's sad. It's it sucks because normally there's a zipper in the back of those gloves. I normally because I can't carry a card. I lost my card in Portland one time and someone ran a couple $100 on it. So I just carry cash in the back of one of my gloves when I'm out in the winter situations. But it's I don't know. I must have had to use it at some point. But that is really sad though, and it's funny because not funny, but you're seeing some commonly addressed issues right now, which is that there's kind of like that moniker of drug addict that's placed on the top of the homeless population. And while we do know that the drugs are an issue no matter where you go, in the homeless population, of course, is going to be a part of the process, part of the issue there. There's also going to be mental disorders that are going to be dealt with. It's really sad to see these things happening. But like she was saying, we're still people. We're still humans that are all people are hurting. And I think that what we talked to with her was different. Like she just found out about the hotel, actually, about the occupation of the hotel over here. So I'm curious if, she's actually up right now talking to the folks that I talked to earlier. And if you notice the room that was in that we looked in, they had some nice soft blankets on the bed that they brought with from home or from wherever they live. They had food, they had other things there. So hopefully, if nothing else, this will be a sign that she's able to get some of the things that she needs, some of the essential, it's cold out here. So, hopefully she'll be able to get some things that will help her make it through, like she said, another day. It's really easy to pass judgment on people. We see things and we assume the worst of people. And it's just sad, because you want to see better for a society. But we got to start, stop dehumanizing people. And, hopefully she'll, get what she needs, Again, do I feel like that justifies taking over the hotel? It's a small business. I can't get behind that. But I feel like it's addressing an issue right now. And hopefully they find a way to resolve it. But it's just tough because, like I said, people can be as nice as you want. It's just tough when the owner of the hotel gets to a point where he has to do something about it. And if he doesn't choose to work with them in some kind of negotiation, amicable form, then who knows where it's going to go. So, yeah, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's Tacoma, though. I can tell you right now, and I gotta look at this dog real quick. It looks like a little miniature version. Hey, what kind of dog do you got? What kind of dog is that? A Shih Tzu? I got a Cocker Spaniel Shih Tzu. I'm gonna show you guys this dog real fast. What's your dog's name? Looks like a little Ewok.
Yeah, Ewok Regent.
What up? Hey. Hey. This is Rosie.
Yeah.
Right on. So I'm gonna talk to these folks here real quick. Let me see what's going on here. It's a Shih Tzu. Shih Tzu. Oops, I'm trying to get one over. It's first and foremost. How you doing? Mind if I talk to you for a quick minute? You guys? Oh, okay. If you guys are in a hurry, it's no problem. No problem. I was just curious. It looks like you guys, I saw when you came in, you didn't have bags, but now it looks like you have some. Were you able to get donations from the group here? Okay. Okay.
They really messed with it. I'm just trying to help them.
Okay. Well, I don't want to slow you down where you're going. It's starting to rain on you guys. We got to take care. So, they have, several bags with them of, look like a couple blankets, some warm sweaters. Man, that's real tough because initially, I got to tell you guys, when I first heard about this, like, I was even kind of up in arms. Man, I can't believe these people think that they can just come in. Because I've been around so much protesting that you assume that people are like, a certain group, right? And so I shot down here and do what I do, which is talk to people, try to get, but the human behind the issue and the human in the action. And contrary to what people's feelings might be on things, the people that are behind it or inside it, it doesn't make them terrible people or bad people even, but it's interesting stuff. It puts you in a real, and I can see where the owner here was probably putting himself in a real, ethical pickle, so to speak, in the fact that he probably has seen this happen over the last 4 days, a handful of times at least, where you've seen people that are getting serviced, and you don't want to impede that process, but at what cost, So it's that's a tough one. It's a real tough one. It's wicked cold out here, guys. So I think I'm going to go ahead and call it for now. I'm going to hop in the car here and try to warm up a little bit and hit the road. But we'll see about coming back in the morning and see what happens with the group here. Whew, man. Honestly, you become a much more sympathetic and empathetic when you're standing out here to what they're talking about, because it is, it's raining and it's 35 degrees out here right now, so it's super cold, super wet, and no good. But
there you have it. It's the American Doofus Show. We are live. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the comments on here. I haven't been able to see them, but I thought it was important that we get this out because there is the first widespread and a massive widespread rumor that this was Antifa and this was a staging area and this was the beginning of a revolution and the patriots should be called to arms. None of that's the case. And CJ, what an absolute remarkable live streamer and commentator. CJ from CJ TV. I've had his streams on here numerous times since the program began. So thank you all. Again, this was totally unexpected. Wasn't planning on doing this live, but breaking news to get the truth out there about what's actually going on in Tacoma, Washington. And you'll see this in a day or two on CNN, on mainstream media, possibly. But this has been going on since Christmas. And nothing's gotten out so far. I want to thank True, by the way. True is the one that tipped me off that this was actually going on, and had to do some verification before I could go with the story. And we broke it as soon as I saw CJ's feed. So it is the American Doofus Show. Again, thank you all for watching. Whether you're watching with us live, I thank you all. God bless you all. Thank you all in the comments. And actually, I've got another episode that I recorded already, and it's going to be coming up here, and probably it's going to be coming up probably within an hour. So if you're on the West Coast and you're up, check out that next episode. And if you're watching this at a later time, check out the next episode as well, and the previous episode. While I'm talking about it, I recorded the previous episode yesterday, which, well, now it was 2 days ago because it's actually after midnight Eastern Standard Time, so it's officially Wednesday. So this will now be a Wednesday video as well as the one coming up. And anyway, 3 videos in a relatively short order, and normally that's an absolute killer because people don't watch. I hope you will watch all 3 videos because all 3 are worthy, including this live, which is going to help spread the truth of what is actually going on in Tacoma, Washington. It is not Antifa. It is not a staging area. It is not the beginning of a revolution. There's no need for the quote unquote patriots to be alarmed. And there's a massive need for people to get bullshit detectors, or at least to wait and find out what's actually happening. Okay, I'm not going to say any more. Again, got another episode coming up probably within an hour. And that episode is going to have a kind of a feel-good story as far as proactive politics, and then a not feel-good story at all. And then I've got a little something from or about Grandmaster Jay and the NFAC that needs to get out. So I'll tell you what, while I'm here and while it's live, y'all been talking amongst yourselves, and instead of hopping in there, I'm just going to let y'all talk amongst yourselves while I close out here. Again, thank you all for watching. It is the American Doofus Show. I love y'all. And again, just popped on here live, breaking news to get the truth out of what is actually happening in Tacoma, Washington, because that's what we do. We're alternative news. That's why we love CJ. CJ's alternative news. You see what happens when you just be a dude and you just walk up and you knock on the door and say, "Hey, can I ask you a couple of questions about what's going on?" That's how you get breaking news. And that's why the revolution will be live streamed when it does happen, if it does happen, if there is such a thing. If it is, it'll be live streamed by people like CJ, by people like Maxwell Mitchell in Louisville, Kentucky, Ford Fisher, who's somehow everywhere. I don't know if he's like the Flash and he runs from one place to another so fast you can't see him, or how he does it, but he seems to be everywhere, and he's damn good. And I appreciate all of their streams as they play parts in what we do here on the American Doofus Show. Don't be a doofus. I'm your host, Barry Welsh, And like I said, I got another episode coming up here in less than an hour. Love y'all. Please continue to watch, and thank you for watching. I'm sincere about that. I'm dead sincere about that. Thank you for watching. I love you all. Peace.